Good damn morning, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Make sure you give me a follow on Rumble at Jericho Green. And I think since I can't buy all of you a drink, I will try to do the next best thing and give 25% off of all green gear. Yes, 25%. Until the whole year. Why not? We're gonna need it. 25% off all green gear for the whole damn year. Promo code Jericho1, all caps and the number 1, 25% off for the rest of the damn year. Promo code Jericho1, all caps and the number 1. So yesterday, as promised, I listened to the inauguration speech on the way home. And here is my honest take. I thought that it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. He said all the same things that all the presidents do. As your president, we need to come together and we need to be united and we can do this together. And to those that didn't vote for me, I will still be your president and I will still fight for you, blah, blah, blah. But when we look at it through the prism of recent events, those words are a little bit different. We know for sure those words are bullshit. We know how conservatives were treated on all these different platforms and levels, but now let's be nice. Let's all get together and just be one big group, and we can all do this together. A lot of COVID talk. They did a little moment of silence for all the people who lost their lives, the 400,000 people who lost their lives. And 400,000 people, that's a lot. Been nice to maybe do a moment of silence for the 1 million babies that were snuffed out prematurely. Whatever. Forget about that. Sorry. But moment of silence for the 400,000 people who died because of COVID. Of course, that's terrible. He said we need to right all wrongs. All of them, huh? And then he said, we need to stop racial injustice. That can't be done. You can't right all wrongs because you can't make everybody happy. It's impossible. And you can't stop racial injustice, whatever racial injustice is. I think that's attached to that whole systemic racism nonsense. Like I've said before, I talked to my brother. We're on opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to some of these things. And I asked him how, if there are all these traps and snares set in place, and us American black folks, us African Americans, keep getting caught up in them. Well, how come people come here? Because it's based on race, it's based on your color. So there are people from other countries, i.e. Africa, who have way more color than any black person here. So you would think because of their darker hue, they're more susceptible to said traps and snares. But how can these people of much darker complexion come here and just not be affected by that in any way and rise to the top in a generation? When they come here not speaking the language, not knowing the customs, not knowing the nuances of our culture, we got it all. Check, and check. We're here already. The home team. So how come they can come here and succeed quickly and we're already here, but we can't seem to do that? So if there's racial injustice, there's systemic racism, why are they not caught up in this system? And he said it's because they do not care. They do not care about this systemic racism talk. They do not care what people think. They come here with a singular goal in mind and they achieve it. That's why. So whether or not there is systemic racism, it makes no difference if you don't believe in it and you don't pay attention to it. Because since they're darker and they're even more of a dadgum you're one of them exotic blacks, right? So they would be even caught up in this racist system even more, supposedly. But they're not at all. That's because it's a bunch of fucking nonsense. So I don't know how we're supposed to stop racial injustice. Good luck with that imaginary monster that you can't really put your finger on and can't really identify it. Good luck. And he was, like many things in life, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Like I said, other presidents say the same thing. But even when Obama said it and when Trump said it, it invoked a different feeling. It sounded serious. It sounded like it was coming from a leader. Now we know how Obama turned out to be, but he still sounded like the part at the time. Biden sounded like your grandpa. He sounded like a grandpa, or he sounded like if you ever knew somebody in your family or friend or something who had a really nice, soft-spoken dad. And he would come in there, hey guys, hey, you might want to stop jumping. Hey guys, don't throw that. Hey, get down. Come on. Hey, listen to your mom. Like that. That's how it sounded. Very soft-spoken and what? Like there was a lot of that in there. And all that was missing was an acoustic guitar and a campfire. Hey, let's get along, man. If we do it together. Together, man, and united, and now we're unity. He said unity 150 times. It's very kumbaya, very campfire. And it just didn't make you think, even if you didn't vote for him, it didn't make you think, all right, maybe we got something here. Maybe we're gonna take some steps in the right direction. None of that. No, it didn't give you any feelings of confidence whatsoever. And now toward the end, he started speaking louder. There was a little more fire and brimstone. It actually started to sound good, but it was at the end. And it was like the last couple minutes of his speech. And it started to get good, to be honest. But then that old Bidenis Pervertis, am I in the mall? That kind of crept in. It was a little weird. He said, God bless America, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, America. That's what he said. Of course, God bless America makes sense. And may God protect our troops. That was sounded disingenuous. Didn't sound right. And then he said, thank you, America. Like, that Biden we have been watching all summer, the interviews kind of crept in at the end. And whoever wrote his speech, it was very, very vanilla, very buzzword. Felt like somebody much younger than him wrote it. That's what I thought of it. It started to get started to sound good toward the end. But the thank you, America, that was weird. It should have ended with God bless the United States, God bless the American people, and God bless the United States of America. That's how it should have ended, but thank you, America. That was just weird. So, I mean, if I had to give it a letter grade, I'll give it like a C-. It wasn't good. It wasn't memorable. It's not something you want to go back and watch again. It was just, all right, we did that. Let's move on. But don't you worry. Don't you worry, guys. That inaugural speech and other things to come, you will be excited to know. Now, Biden wasn't the only one being introduced yesterday. We also had Kamala, the Ugandan nightmare, the politician who went horizontal so her career could go vertical. She was introduced as well. And who better to introduce the country's first female vice president than the country's first female kicker. Remember her, Sarah Fuller, co-SEC Player of the Week. That's W-E-A-K, not W-E-E-K. She's definitely Player of the Week. So she did her little video introduction, and it's my honor to, after 232 years, to finally say these words, and from one woman who's a first to another one, and all this shit. And she said, there were things that I struggled with on the soccer team as a goalie, and there are things that I struggle with as a kicker. Yeah, you struggle with kicking. You struggled with kicking the ball a respectable distance. You struggled with not putting something laughable out on the field. That's what you struggled with. There was no perseverance. You didn't practice. You weren't one of the boys. You couldn't even kick it as far as the worst kicker. You were, what do they call that? You were a promotion. You were PR. You were a publicity stunt. You weren't a real kicker. You're not really part of the team. Now, you maybe did go through some struggles on the soccer team. I don't know. You actually played that sport and practiced it and were apparently pretty good. But obviously, that does not carry over to football, because the two performances she put out there, the kickoff and the extra point, they absolutely sucked. If she was one of the male players, the other players would probably want to kick her ass when she got back into the locker room. That's how bad her performance is. And our women, I know all of you aren't, but there are seriously women out there who are okay with this mediocrity. You weren't even a real kicker. And they're jumping up and down like this is the fucking advancement for the female race. You sucked. You weren't as good as the worst male kicker. You weren't even close. But she introduced the first. Everything's first. First is so important and so cool these days. No, it's not. So, in case you haven't got enough, in case you're not filled up on first, here's another one. This year, shout out to Viva. She let me know about this one. This year at the Super Bowl, finally, guys and girls, finally. Because as we know, women have the eyeballs of eagles. Women have the eyeballs of a high-speed camera. You know, like on Discovery Channel, they got the Shark Week, the air Jaws, and the shark goes up in the air, and they show you, 50 frames a second. Every time, every frame, the shark's getting higher and higher in the air. Apparently, that's how women see. Women have highly advanced fiber optics. I'll tell you why. Because finally, they put the first female referee in a Super Bowl game. Yay! Finally, they got the best of the best in there, because we know your genitals are directly connected to your optic nerves. And if you have a vagina, if you're vaginal, then you can see better, because that's what a referee is for. A referee is out there to see and call out penalties and infractions. That's what they're there for. They're there to make sure the play goes smoothly and no one is breaking the rules. Their job is almost 100% focused on sight. They have to see, are you holding? Roughing the passer? Too many men on the field? It's all about sight. So for them to be celebrating the first woman, that tells me that women must be better at this, simply because they're women. So the optic nerve must be connected directly to the genitals. Because if you have a dick and balls, if you have, what do they call it? Twigs and berries, oh boy. If you have those, apparently your eyesight is subpar. So finally they brought in this eagle-eyed woman to be the first female referee in a Super Bowl game. Who gives a shit? unless it increases your eyesight performance, who gives a shit? Let me see. Nope. Fresh out of give a shit. But that's all they have is identity politics. What do you look like? What's up with your container? They only want to know about the container that you come in. Your color, your sex. Anything other than that does not matter. That's why they get upset and pissed when you debate these people, because feelings and emotions run out quickly. Feelings and emotions, they burn hot. They burn hot as hell, but they don't burn that long. So once you start to peel back the layers, once you debate them for more than 3 minutes, they have nothing else. Therefore, they got to go with the emotions of name calling and getting all mad and that type of shit. Ladies, you didn't know? You didn't know that you have farther to go than men? You didn't know that you don't have it just as good as we are, that you're our equals? I guess not, because there's all this other amazing shit that you need to do that you couldn't do before yesterday. So now I guess you can go out and start your businesses and pursue your dreams and have families, whatever you want to do. Now you can, because all these women are finally doing all these things first. The first woman and the first man, who gives a shit? Is your eyesight better than a man's? No, then I do not care what you have between your legs when you're out there running unathletically like every other referee on the football field, trying to see what's going on. Man, they will not get enough of this woke shit. They can't get enough. They're insatiable. If it ain't race, it's sex. If it ain't sex, it's race. Man, this shit is tiring, exhausting. They must be very tired at night, and all these woke people must sleep very well, because they must be exhausted from overturning every fucking rock to find something that's racist or sexist, some toxic masculinity or some systemic bullshit. Now, let me get back to my work. Let me finish up my state-mandated meal period, the only good thing California's ever given me. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell, because every time it rings, a piece of shit lefty cries. Get your Jericho Green notification tone link in the description box. Utilize a PayPal link and the Teespring link to get your green gear. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm out.